something that I'm dealing with for the last 50 years. Yeah. 50 years ago, I was a young company commander within the paratroops, elite units, and when I got subordinate officer under me, I felt that on the professional side of how to fight and all the technical side, I could really instruct them and guide them and so on. When it reached to how to raise those young commanders in the leadership field, in the leadership issues, I didn't feel so on safe ground. And then I decided that if I want really to be able to raise commanders, leaders under me, I have to study. So I went to the university, and for 3 years I made 2 degrees in psychology because I had to squeeze it. And I came back into the service, and my whole philosophy, my whole concept of leadership was not built out of the academy, because I had to serve and I had to face the need to educate and to raise. First it was dozens, hundreds, thousands of leaders. And I couldn't get any answers in the academy because the academy was busy with what to develop theories on leadership, because since the end of Second World War, this was a big issue, but very small development in the theoretical world, because they felt maybe we will look what are the characteristics needed, what are the characteristics which is typical for leaders, and the fact was that when you compare many leaders, you saw that you cannot find really something which is typical to leaders. You can see here in this room, all of you are in this way or that way leaders in your field, but you are not similar in your characteristic. Nevertheless, you are leaders. Now, 40 years ago, I got the assignment to be the commander of our officer training school, and I had to train thousands of cadets who are, the variety is on all the spectrum. So I looked for an answer, how I can face this challenge. And the whole WABI program that you saw here is based on my experience and my philosophy that I developed through the years, and I raised thousands of leaders. Few of them became ministers of defense, chief of staff, many dozens of generals, because what I looked for is not something which I can change in their characteristics, something that I can try and prepare them for certain situation, not to teach them that are different theories that try to connect leaders and to situations, and not to tell them, listen, you are goal-oriented, you are people-oriented, you know all those theories that try to find what is, how to train leaders, but leadership is the most challenging issue in every field. Today, the whole system, the whole society is built on a very hierarchic structures. It's not one leader and everyone is listening to him, but you have layers on layers on layers, and everyone is finding himself somewhere along this scale, along this hierarchy. So you cannot speak on who was Moses, who was Gandhi, who was Nehru, who was Roosevelt, or whatever leader, and what was his. You have to speak about millions of leaders, and actually, if you will check it, you will see that this is the only profession that we really don't train people. If you want to be an engineer, you have to study for 4 years. If you want to be a social worker, for 5 years. Psychology, it doesn't matter. If you want to be a leader, what you have to study? And if you take our generals, okay, or officers in any military, you ask, how long did you train them to become? Not a few months, maybe a year or two. So, I say to myself, there is a phenomena that we don't train the people, we don't train our commanders, we don't train our leaders, but the system is working. If the system is working, there must be a reason for it. And I look for the reason. And I say the reason for it is that there is probably something essential, something critical, which is the key for leadership. And in order to find it, because if you don't train and it's working, must be something which is the answer. And whoever controls this issue or whoever can manage this challenge is a leader, and if he cannot, he's not a leader. So I ask myself, what is it? And I came to the conclusion that no matter where you are leading, in which society, in which field, the challenge, which if you compete with it and you can manage it, will allow you to be a leader, is one thing, and that is if you are capable to motivate your people. What does it mean to motivate your people? To cause them to do whatever you ask them. If you can bring them to the situation when you can motivate them, your problem as a leader is solved. Whatever you ask them, they have the drive, the motivation to do. So you can lead them to the highest achievement, no matter what field it is. People think there is business leadership, military leadership, political leadership. Nonsense. In every field, there are people involved. Where people are involved, it doesn't matter if it's a startup, if it's to run a hospital, to run a factory, to run a military unit. People are there. Motivation is the key. If you can motivate your people. So when Professor Whiteman, the president of IDC, for years asked me, come and start teaching, because you have maybe you are the most experienced guy that I know who came from the academy, from actual reality. Come and teach. I say, okay, I'll try to challenge the academy and come with my experience, my concept, my philosophy and try to build an academic program. And that's what I did. And this program is based on this concept. Teach the student, no matter what are their characteristics, what are their background, no matter which field they are active in, no matter where they want to develop themselves in, try to give them the tools that will allow them to motivate the people. And this is the key. Now, in order to do it, you cannot teach it only theoretically. So we built this program on three bases. One is academic. I don't deny or I don't ignore the theoretical theories about leadership, and we have the best professor to teach the up-to-date theories, but there is the practical side of leadership that I present with my concept, but there is another base or another foot for this program, and this is the fact that you cannot teach leadership without practicing. So the whole program is built like a laboratory. The very fact that this group of 30 students picked out of a few hundreds the best student, it's not a course. This group, with its dynamic, social dynamics, it's the best tool to understand how you create a group. Because whenever you are a leader, you have followers. How cohesive this group will be is something which will determine if you will succeed to lead this group. If within this group everyone is pushing or pulling to another direction, doesn't matter if you are the best leader, if you cannot create a group to follow you, that's the end. So the whole program is like a laboratory, social laboratory, and they see what is the dynamic. And I teach them by operating the group and behaving not like regular course. And the second part is the fact that every 3 students during this year has to think about and come with a new initiative in the social or educational field, just to build a project, to start a project, to try to run it, and to sometimes it breaks through this IDC campus and influence what's going on in the Israeli society, but the experience of building a new project, leading, why we pick the social educational field, because this is something which you can do. It's not in the business world when you need a lot of money, and we are starting now with 7 years, and the feedbacks that we got from our students and the results of the projects that they built through those last 6 years is a huge success, and we can be very proud that we can see new generation of leaders which understand